Hey, it's Rob. Welcome to Everyday Investor, the hottest investment show in the world. That's right, I said it. I don't care who knows it. We all want more time to spend with family and friends. We want time to engage in a purpose greater than ourselves, have some sort of meaning in life. The challenge is we spend most of our time working to make money in order to live. Let me say that again. We spend our precious time working to make money in order to live. Imagine a life where money could make you money to live in order that we could work less and have more time for the things that matter most. Well, you can. Learn how from everyday people who are making this a reality. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Coming up, Jillian Irving teaches us how our money can make us money investing in student rentals.
So investing in student rental is really no different than investing in a single family home. So you're buying it for the long run, for the equity build up and for the mortgage pay down, but you're basically buying a house that is situated close to a college campus or university campus, and rather than renting it out as a home, you rent out each of the individual rooms.
Everyday Investor is brought to you by ProFunds Mortgages, fixed returns, real security. Clover Properties Rent to Own. Invest with a purpose. Sam McDaddy Real Estate. Full service brokerage for all your buying, selling, and investing needs.
Hey, it's Rav. Welcome back. On this week's episode, we're going to learn how we can make money investing in student rentals. Jillian Irving's here. She's going to teach us all about that. Remember, whenever you're faced with any type of investment opportunity, you always want to ask 4 questions. Number 1, what's the return on investment? Number 2, when do I get that return along with the money that I put in? 3, what is the minimum cash amount needed? And number 4, what is the risk, the worst case scenario? Jillian, it's great to have you on the show.
It's so nice to be back. Thanks for having me, Rob.
We saw each other recently at a investor forum, different conferences that you're at. You had your own show that airs, Mothers of Real Estate.
I do.
With a couple of other ladies
great
and their moms and friends.
Right?
And it's great. And I love what you're doing. You have all different kinds of strategies. But the one that you kind of really enjoy is investing in student rentals.
True.
Yeah. So before we get into that, how's life? What have you been doing?
Things are great. They're busy. You know, my sister and I started this business in Whitby about 4 years ago. We opened a 36,000 square foot trampoline park. So now that's like got some years.
36,000.
I know, it's like an airplane hangar. It's crazy.
So is that individual? Was it a franchise?
It's a franchise.
Which one?
Franchise. Sky Zone.
Sky Zone.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I know, it's great.
So you opened that in Whitby?
In Whitby in 2015. And now that we've had a couple of years under our belt, I feel like I've got this bandwidth again to redirect my sights back into the real estate market. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny. No, it's funny. I have never lost a dollar investing in real estate. I've lost money in other things. And the reason why I got into other things, because I started doing this when I was 16 with Mama Tour, you know, in a small little townhouse in Kingston, Ontario. You know, I was asked to leave a few schools and they put me in co-op and it just happened to be in a real estate brokerage. And then we, you know, and so I've been doing this. I'm 47 now. That's like 32 years, 31 years, right? I've been doing that. And it's really boring. Real estate investing is boring in a fantastic way.
In a fantastic way.
But when you're foolish, not that you are, I am, because I know this you know, trampoline endeavor is not losing money. But in the things that I would do, it was because I was bored in real estate. And so then I would come back and say, why did I do that? You know what? I'm never doing anything else other than real estate. So in the same way, even though I know you're doing well with Sky Zone, there's nothing like real estate investing. You know, it's just simple when you know the fundamentals. It's just money all day long.
The mechanics never change, and that's what's so great about it. But you can't do everything all at the same time, and you can't be completely distracted. So, you know, Sky Zone really took my attention. It was a huge project. It was a big investment. But as I say, like now I've got this like bandwidth again, so I'm really excited to more. I mean, I've been buying real estate anyway, but just kind of more actively jump into it.
Yes, and specifically student rentals?
I love student rentals. They're my favorite.
Yes, and we'll talk about why in just a sec. But why I wanted you on the show is because I know you share the same philosophy. You don't do this to make money, although for the sake of making money. You do this to make money as a tool.
As a tool.
To be
It's
able
always
to
a
do
tool.
the things that, I mean, you're busy. You 4 kids,
Got 4 kids.
right?
I have 4 kids, and I have one who has a disability, right? And so that for me was really the impetus to get into real estate investing, because like heaven knows you don't have more time to spend at the office to make more money. And I'm like, how are we going to reorganize our finances so that something builds for us, but really consistently in supercharged ways, so that we know our son will be taken care of. So we just we found real estate, and it's been the answer to like everything for us.
He's
Really.
very lucky to have a mom like you.
We're lucky to have him.
So I want you to teach us, just give us a synopsis of really how does this work, investing in student rentals, and why are you so thrilled about student rentals? Because a lot of people are not.
I know people think I'm crazy, right?
Yeah,
They
so
really
why
do.
do you like it? How does it work and why do you like
Okay,
it?
so investing in student rental is really no different than investing in a single family home. So you're buying it for the long run, for the equity build up and for the mortgage pay down, but you're basically buying a house that is situated close to a college campus or university campus, and rather than renting it out as a home, you rent out each of the individual rooms. And what's so beautiful about that is rather than getting a single family rent, you get like this magnified rental income by the students. So that just translates into more cash in your pocket every single month.
And so yeah, because I mean, obviously in real estate, not obviously, I mean that's what the show is for, to help those that are tuning in. But you know, real estate increases. Someone's paying down our mortgage, but a big reason why people do student rentals is because of the cash flow component, which is more lucrative, generally speaking, than just having 1 or 2 tenants in a home.
Exactly, and so it really strikes all of those components of what makes real estate so great: the cash flow, the appreciation, the pay down. But you have good cash flow at the same time as all those other elements are working for you too. So it's a really great strategy in terms of putting money in your pocket every single month.
Yeah.
And like the forced savings that happen from the mortgage pay down and the appreciation.
Okay, so is there any, you know, and forgive me, it's probably not the right terminology, but is there any kind of prejudices that go into this? Is it just, you know, dot your I's, cross your T's, wonderful young women that are renting these properties, or do you rent it out to anybody? And are we, and what type of properties are we having to be able to host these?
So again, there's all sorts of different student rental strategies in the thing, but really what you're trying to do is find a house that is close to university, right? Like you have to be near the campus, you have to be close to the amenities, but like any landlord, like who you select and who you put in there is a huge risk for everyone.
Course. You have to vet.
Absolutely have to vet the people who go in there. Otherwise, you're open to the same risks as a landlord who rents to, you know, unsavory characters in any other market too. So absolutely selecting your tenants and making sure that you have their parents on the lease with them, like co-signers.
Is that what you do?
Oh, absolutely.
The parents co-sign?
Yeah, and it's really funny. When I went to university 1,000 years ago, like my parents never saw the place. They didn't care about anything. Like I was wholly responsible for all the choices I made. Nowadays, like parents are actively involved in every aspect of their kid's life, which is great for me as a landlord because they want to come and see and they want to sign on the dotted line and they guarantee these rents, right?
Yeah.
So you have no rental risk whatsoever.
Yes.
And you can phone up mom and dad and say, hey, Billy didn't pay his rent, or this house is disgusting.
So Billy still pays the rent even though mom dad co-signs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
it's not mom dad paying.
Well, they might if he doesn't. Like they certainly will swoop in if necessary, and they'll wrap him on the knuckles too, which is better coming from them than from me. Right?
So it doesn't matter gender, it doesn't matter age, it doesn't matter white, black, yellow, brown, it doesn't matter any of that. But as a landlord investing in student rentals, we need to do our due diligence. We need to make sure that they're vetted, and we need parents to co-sign.
Yeah, wherever possible. Sometimes it's a bit trickier, but wherever possible, you want the parents to co-sign as well.
Okay. And what type of, so here's Rav. He's in university. I'm living in Hamilton. I want to be closer to Mac University. And so what type of property am I looking at, in your opinion, if you were trying to teach other investors, what are we looking at? Are we doing the quote unquote, slumlord thing?
Right.
Are we putting something together that we would want our own children to live in? What's Jillian's philosophy?
Well, so I have 4 kids, right? And my first son actually went off to Western this year, which was really traumatizing for me. But I've always run my business like I would want this house to be be a house that I feel comfortable that my own children would live in. And I say that to the parents of every single child who stays in these houses. Like, they need to be safe, they need to be nice. I mean, no one wants their kids to stay in a dive. So my business has always been built around like safety first, no matter anything else. And now these kids also want like kind of bells and whistles, right? So the kitchens are nicer, the bathrooms are nicer.
Of course.
There's like more amenities than there ever were.
Because psychologically, now they're even going to take care of it.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm in a nice place, I want to take care of that nice place.
Honestly, if you have a slummy house, and this is the same for single family rentals, you're going to attract a tenant who's kind of like slummy, right?
Yeah.
So you keep your places looking great, having great amenities, and those are the types of people who are going to be attracted to your place. And those are more likely the tenants you're going to want to have, right?
So how many, we'll call them doors, tenants, how many do you have now?
Like in my whole portfolio?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I haven't counted in a long time. But I mean, like, a lot.
A lot. You have a lot.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember, because last time we did the show together, I can't remember the number, and obviously it's increased, and you took a bit of a break. What is the average per dwelling?
So again, it depends what you buy. If you want to be able to actually just maximize the number of bodies in a house without kind of squishing everybody in it like sardines.
I don't want to turn my kitchen into a room.
No, like it has to be safe and feel like there's enough room. But really, at the end of the day, if you can get another bedroom somewhere, then you're going to get that extra rent. So mine typically have between 6 or 7.
Oh, really?
But every jurisdiction is different. Some people some places only allowed 5. Some people only allow 4. But if you go to a place where they like 7, or they allow 7 or 8, well then you can really hit that kind of cash flow sweet spot.
But 6 or 7 is great, because your average rent per student,
again, is going up and up, right? So that's why
500,
you can get these,
600.
It depends. In some markets it's 600, and some it's 550. So like that's why you can get really juicy cash flow.
Yeah, because I'm doing my math real quick here.
I know,
You're looking
right?
at 3,000, 3,500 per home, which if it was just a single family, I'm not getting that.
No, nowhere near it, right?
Yes. No, that's fantastic. We are going to look at an actual case study. We're going to look at the return on investment.
Great.
We're going to look at how much is needed, and then I also want to touch on the risk. Thank you so much for being on the show.
So happy to be here.
So grateful for those that have tuned in. We're going to learn a lot from Jillian. Don't go anywhere. Everyday Investor continues in a moment. Thanks for watching.
Everyday Investor is brought to you by ProFunds Mortgages, fixed returns, real security. Clover Properties Rent to Own. Invest with a purpose. Sam McDaddy Real Estate, full service brokerage for all your buying, selling, and investing needs.
Hey, it's Rav. Welcome back to Everyday Investor. Today we're learning how to make money investing in student rentals. My good friend Jillian's on the show. Jillian, thank you so much for being here.
So great to be here.
Before we cut to break, we were talking about, or I was about to ask you, in this whole world of student rentals, what's the risk associated? Because, what comes, you've done very well with it, and you're continuing to do well with it. What comes to people's mind is, I'm going to buy a property, and it's going to be a nice property, and these guys are going to, trash it. They're going to,
So almost everyone I talk to when I talk about student rentals, brings up that movie Animal House, right? Where there's a crazy party, and the living room furniture ends up in the swimming pool, and people are like, why would you do that? That sounds so scary. And in fact, I have never come across anything like that at all. Again, having parents as guarantors is really, really helpful for us. I also make sure to minimize that I have a really good student rental-centric property manager. There are nuances to every strategy, right? So this is someone who is kind of on top of things and is kind of paying attention to what is happening.
So you have these student rentals in different areas where there's universities, colleges, and so you're not managing them. Built into these numbers that we're going to look at, you hire a property manager.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For me, that's part of the strategy, right? Is to not be involved all day, every day, right? Because I've got
can enjoy your 4 kids.
And my family, my family matters, and there's just too much stuff, right? And issues always come up at midnight.
At midnight, yes. And are these, outside, where are they? An hour, hour and a half outside the GTA?
So,
some are inside?
I've got some that are in Hamilton, others that are a little bit further west, some that are well in St. Catharines, that kind of area as well.
Okay.
So that's where I tend to go.
And with this whole parents co-signing, guaranteeing, is that common for people who invest in student rentals, or is this something you do, more people should do, And you won't do it any other way?
Well, I won't do it any other way now, because that's where so much of the piece comes from, me knowing that we can phone up the parents and they will usually they will, act on our behalf and will agree that you should treat properly, respectfully and stuff. So for me, it's a whole safety mechanism that just does not exist with any other strategy at all. I mean, you can't get a single family rental to get their mom and dad to co-sign it, right? So, so in a way, it gives this level of security to student rentals that you couldn't even get in a single family rental. So while some people think it's riskier, in fact, we have this level that's actually not available to others.
In residence, if somebody's living U of T residence, do parents need to guarantee that, or?
I don't know how it works for the university campuses, but certainly once they step off and come into our houses.
Yes, but it works for Jillian.
It works for me.
Yes, if you want to live here, then we need mama or pops.
Yeah, but we also have like a good property manager who's inspecting these places regularly, right? So we know what the place looked like when they came, and so people are on the hook for damage that does happen. But I would say the risk in student rentals over time is still related to maintenance issues, because even if they're not trashing the place, which they're not, a lot of bodies living in a house does cause wear and tear to happen over time. And if you're not keeping on top of that and fixing it up and sprucing it up, then you are eventually, the value of your property is going to kind of slide. So,
but you're making it in cash flow, and we can put a little bit back towards it. Right. And these aren't 8-9 month leases. These are full year leases.
So absolutely, 100% we only do 1 year leases, because otherwise your cash flow, the beauty of your cash flow vanishes, right? So, and that's really standard in the industry. So I think students are expecting 12-month leases, parents are expecting 12-month leases. And so that's really the standard, which is great for all of us.
And for whatever reason, if they're not coming back, they give you the normal 60 days notice kind of thing.
Then you sublet it. And so again, as a parent, if these kids are trying to sublet rent their room, we're really easy with that. We don't give them a hard time as long as we approve sort of the person who they're putting forth.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying, let's say the contract was only 1 year. Yeah. They give you 60 days notice to say, I'm not coming back, and then you just rent it out to another student.
Oh, well, we actually do our leasing in December, so a full 6 months. So we do May to May, but in December we're getting them to commit whether they're there for the year or not. Our rental season is in January of every year, so months before these houses are turning over. So I know that I'm fully booked for my next school year, 4 months before anyone's even left.
Lots of notice then to get somebody in there.
Yeah, and we encourage them strongly to make up their minds about whether they're coming or going super early.
Yeah, no, you are a tough businesswoman. I like it, Jillian. I like it. Okay, let's buy a property. Okay. Where did we buy this property? Is this an hour outside, 2 hours?
This is a couple hours outside of Toronto, which it's given away by the fact that it only costs $350,000. Yes. So it's surely not in the GTA.
So that's the purchase price, $350,000?
That's a really reasonable purchase price.
Okay. And then we have a down payment on that?
Yep, so that's $87,500. That's 25% down. Remember, lenders, that's also one of the other risks in student rentals, is lenders can be really tricky with student rentals. So you have to do your homework and make sure you know who has a good student rental program so that you've got your financing in place before.
But that's only 5% more. Generally, an investment property, you need 20%, so they're saying they want 25% down? Yep. Okay, and then we have some closing costs?
Legal and land transfer tax. I find that that's a number, the land transfer tax is a number that a lot of investors forget to put on their pro forma, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I need to come up with another $8,000. So,
this
don't
is what?
forget. So it's $86.50. That includes land transfer and legal.
Now, was this a turnkey, meaning it was already done, or you had to do some renovations?
I did nothing to this particular one, and it was a 7-bedroom. So those are a little bit less.
7-bedroom, and you do nothing?
Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, and 5 bathrooms. It was great. And these are not always the easiest ones to come by, but they're there. So
if I just take those two numbers, down payment and closing costs, that adds up to? $96,150. Okay, great.
And I have to just add in at this point too that I bought this property a few years into my Sky Zone business. I had very little mental room for anything.
Brain time.
I had very little brain time, so I love this. Was set it and forget it. Other people love the glory of getting their construction crew in there and adding on the extra rooms, and so that's a whole other strategy where you take a single family home and convert it. But that was not where my zone of genius was right back then.
Well, so you just didn't have the time. You know, we have to prioritize on the things that we want.
So there's many ways to skin the student rental cat. All that's to say. So all the money in for this was $96,000.
$96,000. So we're making money with cash flow. All our expenses against the income, and that gives us what?
$1,000 a month at least.
$1,000 a month at least. So we're going to write down $12,000.
And that's including all the property management has been taken into account. That's just absolutely end of the day
You put it all in there.
Put it all in there.
Yes.
So that's $1,000 at minimum.
Okay.
Annual mortgage pay down is $5,300.
$5,300, so just over $400 a month. Somebody's paying off our mortgage on the principal.
Love it.
Right? And then it automatically goes up passively. I know you're very conservative. What number did we use here?
So I have actually never in any single pro forma in my life used more than 3%. So I'm always so
Wow.
happy.
Here you are conservative.
Because it goes up. So I just never use anything more because that's the one thing that we just cannot control for. In fact, it might be a -1 one time. Who knows what it's
Yes.
going to be. So I just use a nice...
You use 3%, so
I use
3% on the $350 purchase price is
$10,500.
$10,500. And so if we take these three numbers, the cash flow, the mortgage pay down, and how much it just went up naturally, that spits us out a total number of
$27,800.
$27,800 is what we made in this 1 year. We divide that. Whenever you're looking on the return on investment, you take your profits, you divide it by what you're in for. So in this case, $27,800 divided by $96,150, and that spits us out
At 29%.
29%. So I'm basically making, almost 30% on
Here.
this turnkey operation, but you only use 3%.
Yep.
If we were to increase that to natural appreciation of 5%,
Then it
that
jumps
number
way
changes and it's over 35%.
up. Yeah, I know.
It's
Right?
fantastic.
It's really great, right?
And what I really like on this is that cash flow.
Yeah, so there's all these mechanisms that are working together. There's that money in the pocket every month that who's not going to be happy with that? But then the appreciation.
The debt
and-
reduction, but that cash flow, I mean,
great.
that's $1,000
Yeah.
a month,
Right.
Right?
Yep.
The average Canadian salary, is about 50,000. If I had 4 of these, right, 4 of these,
Right.
and I took out the management because if I only had 4, I'd do it myself perhaps, or not because I want to enjoy the family. I want to do something benevolent, something meaningful, no, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
It's
fantastic.
I love the strategy, and I just have found that I've not really had any of the hiccups that you would expect exist with this strategy.
So Jillian is not moving on to her second Sky Zone.
No.
She's actually come back, and we're doing more student
I'm
rentals.
do more student rental. I'll do those every day of the year.
Yes, and that's fantastic.
So
Jillian,
good.
it's so great
Such
to
a treat.
have you on the show. Time flies when we're having fun. You'll have to come back again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for tuning in. Without you, we wouldn't have a show. For more information on this show or any others, or to become an Everyday Investor Insider, where you can get investment opportunities, tips, advice, go to everydayinvestor.com and sign up. Until next week, we'll see you same place, same time. Honey, I love you. I'll be home soon.